Hello, crypto legends. Now, if you have been living under a rock, which I advise not to do, you may not have noticed that Bitcoin has gone and smashed $100,000 per coin today as of this morning. First of all, huge historical moment. It's the big number, the number that we've all been waiting for a hell of a long time. And it's also been the number that a lot of analysts out there have said will never come, including the famous Peter Shift. That one didn't end well. So what we're going to do today, we're going to go through, was the signs there, which I very much believe they are, and I've done this in previous videos and updates. Where could we be going forward? And maybe could we look into a bit of a bear market afterwards? We will see. So guys, come and join me on this Bitcoin update. One of the things you will hear over the course of these markets will be around, oh, no one really knew that was coming. There was no signs for it. There was nothing there to suggest. Now, I did this in a recent video. We're going to look back from the short time frames first. We're going to go to the high time frames and see what's been showing on there, which I think there's been ample amount of things for us to go off. And then we'll go from where we could head from here. First of all, on them short time frames, 1 hours and 4 hours, as long as you find it in confidence points, you're okay. And we could just be looking at round about here. Some people might take the wicks, that's fine. Some people might try and get close to the bodies. The point is that you're getting the view. There was what we would call a really nice bull pennant, hopefully flashes up here. And that is a textbook pattern. Now, something I want to kind of stress here is bull patterns in bull markets are much more significant, and bear patterns and bear outlooks in bear markets are much more significant. So if you're seeing bull patterns in bull, then you can kind of put a little bit more hope that the price action is going to go the way you wanted it to go. Because I did see quite a few people online over the past 24 hours kind of give this outlook, and it's not to say it's not there and it was wrong. It could have possibly been a bit of a slope in the head and shoulders there. But bearish outlooks in bull markets just don't have the same impact as a bullish outlook in a bull market. So if we just go back a few more times. So bull markets, bull patterns, very, very, very important to be observing. So what we're going to do, we're going to go and head to the higher time frames. And let's see if there's been some macro things for us to look at to suggest this is where we were going. So start clear here, and there's a few things that maybe even some of you might be able to spot. Now, there is nothing wrong in also using patterns on much higher time frames. What works on an hour can very much work on the large time frames and actually get you a very, very big outcome. So we'll keep this quite rough just for the sake of and the speed of the video. We would have had just here for the cycle a little bit, or well, I won't even say a little bit, I would say a lot, to be fair, guys. A very, very big head and shoulders pattern that was forming. Now, it is wonky. We'll neaten this up in a minute if you would like. But the point is what you are seeing. Okay, so when you have the textbooks that show you these patterns, they are very, very often illustrations. That is someone's actual illustrative drawing. It's not actually usually that neat and tidy when it comes to an actual live market. Something for you is just to keep in mind, because if we just do put one more time up on this video, an inverse head and shoulders now, usually it will look very textbook and clean. That is not realistically how it goes. We could clear that off and just simply just give ourselves a nice little viewpoint there. So first of all, huge, massive bullish pattern on Bitcoin already forming, and it was forming for a very long time. Then you've got other outlooks. You've got what we would call cup and handle patterns. This is something, again, that we've done a lot of updating on, so we can flash a cup and handle pattern as well. And just here. So again, it's not just me who is doing these type of comments. A lot of people will throw in this information out. The people that, in my opinion, understand markets quite well. And there was a very, very nice long-term cup and handle pattern there. A lot of patterns kind of complement one another. They complement one another, and you will see that as you look at this type of video. And then if we was to just click this way, just here, we then actually would, or we could suggest, and maybe flash it one more time up here, guys, a bull flag. Now, bull flags, again, are not always going to be textbook perfect or look perfect, but that type of viewpoint there was very, very much a positive look for Bitcoin. So we had small time frame positive looks, 1 to 4 hours, then the dailies and 3 days and weeklies and so forth. Everything was looking really well. Then if we look at where Bitcoin was lingering from its previous highs just here, overall, I wouldn't call it much of a drop. We've actually had much bigger corrections in previous bull runs. So it was only a 30% drop. And if we could maybe guesstimate an average in and around this level here, on average across that type of reaccumulation, which we could have been going through, well, obviously we were 24% on an average in a correction. Yes, it did a lot of damage to the alt market, but according to Bitcoin, it didn't really care. So what we're going to do is go through some potential price expectations. Now, we're going to keep this simple. Again, we're going to use a basic fib, and we're going to start off from getting some expectations. So what we're going to simply do is just take my fib. Like I said in the previous video, my tool, I've just changed a few settings. I've cut a lot out of kind of nonsense work that you have to do with some fibs, and it still gives you the same reading. So what we're going to do is go from low into the current high. The reason why we're not taking it to here now, people, is a couple of reasons. The main reason is this trend has not finished. So we actually don't know where this is going to land. It could land here and pull back. I mean, I doubt right now it could sweep up to 160, but hey, crazy things do happen in crypto and Bitcoin. But we will see. But what we don't want to be doing is drawing a fib into a current move. You want it. It's a trend tool. So we're going to go from the low, we're going to go to the high and leave it there. So the next actual pricing target is in and around 108 to 110. Now, in the Patreon, I did actually place a long call just before breakout, yesterday. And target price 2, I believe, we'll flash the evidence up here in a minute. It was around about $109,000, $110,000. So far, so good. So we could be looking at 108 to 110,000. Then we could be looking at, now this is where it becomes a little bit of a stretch, but we're going to see, you could be looking at the 150s into the 160s to 170s. The pricing is just here on the left-hand side as well. And then the really big stretch could be looking at them 250s to 260s. I don't know what I would do if it gets to that point. I am a Bitcoin holder, been a Bitcoin holder for a very long time. I'm very excited to what I'm seeing anyway, but 250, 260, I might do a backflip live on YouTube and break my neck for you. So that is a big, big stretch. Now, one thing, just like the recent video that I've done, I believe it was on XRP targets, whatever target you think you're finding, and it could be a Gann, by the way, a Gann box, a Gann square, Fibonacci's, there could be a multiple ways that you're finding your technical targets. Ensure that you're finding the technical target and then setting your expectation lower, okay? We don't want to be trying to be perfect in this market. You want to be scaling out. You want to be taking profits along the way. You really want to be securing the bag. You don't go broke taking profit, people. Now, take this back. Clean it up a little bit. And I just want to stress something on here. Where Bitcoin can go just realistically depends on what market cap it's going to finish at for this cycle. There's loads of expectations. There's loads of predictions. So Fibonacci's are great. They're key areas of interest for the market. Hopefully the market does get pushed into these levels. Very, very often you'll see them respect them. But in the end, all it is guesswork, including myself and anyone else who is going to guess more correctly than the other person what the overall market cap of Bitcoin lands on at the top of this cycle. So that there, guys, is a very, very quick rundown. If you want to be looking at if we were going to be seeing big corrections from this point, then, you know, we may reject at that 110 and even come back into them 70s to 80s. That's how Fibonacci would kind of show us, as you can see here. We didn't actually get all the way back, but we did get close. Not to say, I'm not saying it's definitely happening, but it could happen. Or we could get an explosion all the way through and down and then off one more time. That also leads on to other things such as Elliott waves and so forth. But this video isn't a trading video. It's not a call video. I'm not giving you a short or a long. It's just what we are seeing right now. One thing I just want to make people aware of, no matter if we get into these really, really high targets, 150s to 160s, 170s, you will always have people at that point kind of say that it's never going to drop or it won't drop that much and there won't really be a bear market. Historically, there always is. So we want to look at a little bit of an expectation. Let's just say one example before we finish this video, this becomes the top. Bitcoin corrections have been 70, 80% into bear markets in the past historically. So even if we were going to bring that down to 50% this time, that would still take us in around 75K levels. And if we're going to get really bearish and follow other historics in this market, we could be looking at them 50K levels. Not saying it's definitely going to happen, but I would love for people to always be wary and sensible and smart on this market and just take profits along the way. That is a very quick Bitcoin rundown and update. I hope you enjoyed it. I really hope a lot of you are making a hell of a lot of money from this type of move. Altcoins and alt season, done videos before about alt season. They are shaping up as well. And the stars are once again aligning for what we would hope an extremely big, bullish, profitable bull run. And that's it from me. I am Fitzo Crypto. I'll see you in the next one. Any recommendations, put them in the comments, drop a subscribe and hit the bell button and you'll be notified on any video that I put out. All the best. Have a brilliant